It was a freezing February night in New Hampshire when a young woman's car was found crashed on a lonely road. The driver's door was locked. The engine was still warm, but the woman, Maura Murray, had vanished. Some say she ran away to start a new life. Others believe she was taken. 20 years later, no one knows the truth, but the clock is still ticking. Maura Murray wasn't just another name in a missing persons report. She was a bright, ambitious 21-year-old nursing student at the University of Massachusetts, Amherst. Those who knew her described her as athletic, disciplined, and full of potential. She came from a close-knit family, and on the surface, she seemed to have her life ahead of her. But beneath that promising image, there were cracks in her story, hidden struggles, secrets, and choices that made her disappearance all the more puzzling. Just days before she vanished, Maura confided in professors that she would be gone for a week, citing a family emergency. But there was no emergency at home. Instead, she had packed up her belongings, emptied her bank account nearly $280, and quietly set off on a mysterious journey north. Why? What was she running from, or running toward? On February 9th, 2004, Maura emailed her professors, telling them she would be out for the week. Then she got into her black satin sedan and began driving toward the rugged white mountains of New Hampshire. She didn't tell her friends. She didn't tell her boyfriend. And she didn't tell her family exactly where she was going. But cell phone records, ATM footage, and a handful of receipts would later provide chilling breadcrumbs of her final known hours. At 7:27 p.m., police received a report of a single-car accident on Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire. When officers arrived, they found Maura's car lodged in a snowbank. The windshield was cracked, airbags deployed, and a box of wine lay spilled inside. But the strangest detail wasn't the car, it was the driver, because Maura was gone. One of the key witnesses that night was a man named Butch Atwood, a school bus driver who lived just down the road. He saw Maura standing by her car, looking shaken but not badly injured. Butch pulled over and offered to call the police for her. Strangely, Maura refused. She told him she had already called for help, even though there was no evidence that she ever had. Atwood, uneasy but respectful, drove away and made his own call to 911. By the time officers arrived, barely 10 minutes later, Maura was nowhere to be found. The search begins. Police found her car locked, with airbags deployed. Inside were her personal belongings, a backpack, textbooks, makeup, and even her favorite stuffed animal. But her wallet, credit cards, and cell phone were gone. In the snow surrounding the car, there were no clear tracks leading into the woods, no drag marks, no sign of a struggle. It was as if she had simply vanished into thin air. The initial assumption by law enforcement was that Maura had run off to escape the embarrassment of crash, maybe even hiding nearby to avoid a DUI charge. After all, there was alcohol in the car. But if that was the case, why didn't she come back once the coast was clear? Family arrives, pressure mounts. Within days, Maura's family and friends descended on the area. They handed out flyers, searched the woods, and begged for answers. The police, meanwhile, treated the case as a standard missing person investigation, not a potential crime. But the family insisted Maura would not just walk away. Something was wrong. Something had happened to her. And soon, odd details began to emerge, like why Maura had packed up her dorm room as if she wasn't planning to return, or why she'd been searching online for directions to places in Vermont and New Hampshire. Theories started to swirl. Was she meeting someone? Was she running from a secret life? Or had she crossed paths with the wrong stranger on that dark road? Before her car was discovered abandoned in rural New Hampshire, Maura Murray had already made a series of puzzling choices. Those choices, and what investigators uncovered later, sparked endless speculation. Did she leave on her own, or was something far more sinister at play? In the days before her disappearance, Maura wasn't acting like herself. She carefully packed belongings from her dorm room, boxing them as if she were preparing to move out. She emailed her professors, claiming there had been a death in the family, and that she'd be away for several days. But no one in her family had died. Then came another unsettling move. On surveillance cameras, she was seen withdrawing nearly $280 in cash from an ATM. Soon after, She purchased alcohol, including a box of wine. So, what was she planning? A brief trip to clear her mind, or a permanent break from her old life? With few answers, speculation grew. Theory 1, she ran away. Some believe Maura staged her disappearance. She had maps of New Hampshire and Vermont, and her car was pointed north toward the White Mountains, possibly toward a fresh start. Theory 2, suicide. Others focus on her personal struggles. Just days earlier, she had been involved in a hit-and-run accident. She was under academic stress, and her relationship with her boyfriend was strained. Did she drive into the wilderness, intending never to return? Theory 3, foul play, and then the darkest possibility, abduction. The isolated road, the short window of time between her crash and police arrival, and a lack of footprints in snow suggests she may have been picked up and never seen alive again. Her family refused to believe she had vanished by choice. They set up camp in the small New Hampshire town, posting flyers, speaking to locals, and searching endlessly. Tracking dogs were even brought in. But shockingly, the dogs followed her scent only a short distance from the car before the trail went cold. The evidence suggested Maura had gotten into another vehicle. The community began whispering about something darker, a predator in the woods, capable of taking a young woman in minutes without leaving a trace. But here's where the story grows even stranger. Rumors spread of suspicious men living nearby. Reports of a red truck began surfacing. Yet nothing concrete ever tied anyone to Maura's disappearance. By now, the case of Maura Murray had taken on a life of its own. A young woman vanishes in a remote New Hampshire town, and no trace of her has ever been found. Theories spread quickly, and soon attention turned to possible suspects, and one rumor that still lingers to this day, the red truck. Suspicion fell on locals almost immediately. The crash happened on a rural road, where neighbors lived close enough to hear it. Some even spoke with Maura that night. One witness, a school bus driver, claimed he stopped to help, but Maura politely declined, saying she had already called for assistance. Yet no record of such a call was ever found. Minutes later, when police arrived, she was gone. Did someone in the neighborhood play a role? Or did Maura willingly step into another vehicle, possibly someone she trusted? Then came one of the most chilling leads, the red pickup truck. Multiple locals reported seeing it near the crash site and later circling the small town. For years, online sleuths have speculated that the driver may have been involved, perhaps offering Maura a ride that ended in tragedy. But police never publicly identified the driver, nor confirmed that the lead was fully investigated. To this day, the red truck remains a haunting loose thread. Attention also turned to Maura's long-distance boyfriend, Bill Roche. Their relationship, while committed, had hidden tensions. Phone records showed multiple calls between them around the time she vanished, and some claimed she was stressed about their future. Though Bill has never been charged or named an official suspect, speculation continues, with many believing he knows more than he revealed. Other names surfaced too. Local men with criminal records, registered offenders in the area, even theories of a transient passing through. Yet every lead ended in silence. What makes this case so unnerving is the lack of evidence. No footprints leading away, no dropped belongings, no sign of a struggle. It's as if she vanished into thin air, leaving behind only questions and shadows. But perhaps the most disturbing part isn't who may have taken her, but how the case was handled afterward. Allegations of mishandled evidence, poor communication, and missed opportunities cast a long shadow over the investigation. When we last left off, Maura Murray had vanished on a snowy New Hampshire road. Locals whispered about a red truck, possible suspects, and mysterious sightings. But what really happened in the crucial first hours after the crash? That's where the investigation and its failures begin. The first 2 days after Maura's disappearance were critical and controversial. Police conducted searches, questioned locals, and combed the woods with dogs. But questions quickly arose about the thoroughness of the effort. Search dogs traced Maura's scent for only a short distance before it disappeared. Investigators did not immediately secure the crash site, meaning potential evidence could have been lost to the elements, or worse, tampered with. Adding to confusion, Officers assumed she had voluntarily left the scene. Reports of sightings went unverified. Leads were slow to be followed. And some even believe a lack of coordination between different law enforcement agencies contributed to missed opportunities. Several people claimed to see Maura in the hours after the crash, but their statements conflicted. A bus driver saw her standing beside her car, looking shaken but refusing help. A local trucker claimed he saw a young woman, matching Maura's description, hitchhiking along Route 112. Some residents reported a red truck circling the area, yet no one could confirm the driver's identity. These conflicting accounts created confusion, and investigators struggled to separate fact from rumor. Each lead felt like a thread, but without clear direction, the trail quickly frayed. Over the years, experts and online sleuths have criticized the initial investigation. The crash site wasn't secured properly. Witness statements weren't documented quickly. Potential evidence, including footprints in snow, may have been overlooked. Local authorities were accused of underestimating the seriousness of the disappearance from the very start. For many, these early missteps weren't just mistakes. They were critical failures that may have doomed any chance of finding Maura alive. Even today, the Maura Murray case remains open. Investigators, amateur sleuths, and true crime enthusiasts continue to follow leads, comb through old evidence, and speculate on the possibilities. Did she run away, disappearing intentionally? Did she fall victim to a stranger on that dark, lonely road? Or did a combination of bad luck and investigative missteps seal her fate? No one has the answer. And every year, new theories and tips breathe life into a case that refuses to be solved. 2 decades have passed since Maura Murray vanished on that snowy road in New Hampshire. And yet, the case continues to captivate investigators, online sleuths, and true crime enthusiasts alike. How can a disappearance be so complete, so elusive? The answers may lie in the digital age. Long before social media dominated investigations, Maura's disappearance sparked the attention of forums, blogs, and online communities. Amateur detectives meticulously analyzed timelines, phone records, witness statements, and even weather reports from the night she vanished. Websites like Web Sleuths became hubs for speculation, where members shared maps, cross-referenced sightings, and debated theories. Every reported sighting, every rumor of a red truck or suspicious local was dissected, sometimes bringing new leads to light, other times fueling more questions. Over the years, various theories have resurfaced. Accidental death in the wilderness. Could Maura have wandered into the forest after the crash, succumbing to the harsh winter conditions? Foul play. Was she intercepted by someone in the area, possibly the driver of the red truck or another unknown person? Intentional disappearance. Some still argue that Maura meticulously planned to vanish, perhaps starting a new life far from New Hampshire. Despite advances in technology, DNA analysis, digital mapping, and phone tracking, none of these theories has been conclusively proven. Even with 20 years of scrutiny, crucial questions remain. Why did Maura leave her car keys and wallet behind? Was she ever picked up by someone, voluntarily or otherwise? Could evidence from the first 48 hours, lost or overlooked, hold the key? Each unanswered question adds to the haunting legacy of the case. Families, investigators, and online communities remain engaged, determined to uncover the truth that has so far eluded them. Maura Murray's disappearance is more than a cold case. It's a story of mystery, speculation, and the enduring human fascination with the unknown. 20 years later, the snowy road where she vanished is a symbol of a puzzle that refuses to be solved. And so, the clock keeps ticking. Maura Murray's fate remains a question mark, and the story continues to inspire, intrigue, and terrify. Perhaps one day, the truth will finally emerge, but until then, the mystery endures. 2 decades later, Maura Murray's disappearance remains one of the most haunting unsolved mysteries in America. But what do you think really happened that night on the snowy road? Share your views in the comments. I read every one. And if you want to follow more mysteries like this, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss the next case. Thank you,